Congratulations and thank you. You have invested in the world's #1 golf swing trainer for the special person in your life, and they're going to have tremendous fun using it, and hopefully it's going to set them on a lifetime of golf and all the benefits that that brings to their life. So this is the assembly video. What I'm going to be doing is taking you through what's included in PlaneSWING and also how to put it together. And if you follow these instructions, it's a very simple process and your child will be using PlaneSWING in a matter of 45 minutes. So inside the box, you're going to find the assembly booklet. And what we're going to do first of all is we're going to take out all of the parts and we're going to lay them out exactly how it's shown on image 2 inside of the assembly booklet. So as you can see, what we've done is we've laid everything out exactly as it's going to be put together, because that's going to save you a huge amount of time. And what I have here is all of the hardware, and I've separated it all out. I've used the cardboard that is inside the box, and you can see here I've got the D-rings, which are for the calibrated strut for when you're going to change the angle. I've got the plane guide, which you'll use initially, probably won't use an awful lot after that, which is really for setting the angle for your child. And then we have a couple of hooks here, which are for use when the PlaneSWING is folded, okay? And we have a couple of safety stays here, and they go at this point here at each hinge. And then we have all the hardware, and I can tell you now, in 15 years, there's never been a single piece missing. So look after that, because they come in a shrink-wrapped pack, and you're going to have to split that open and just make sure that no pieces get lost. This is why I like to keep them on a hard surface. Ideally, don't assemble on grass, because there's a good chance things will drop into the grass and you won't find them, particularly if we're in Florida with St. Augustine, which is about 5 inches deep. So all of those are here, and we'll go through each of those parts one by one as and when we assemble the PlaneSWING. So the first part of the process is to connect the main circle, and I'm going to start with the yellow and the green sections here at the bottom using the head screw, which is the screw that an Allen key fits into. Very simple process. So you've got male and female joint here, and what you've basically got to do is to join these two pieces and then place the screw inside there. So we've completed the bottom section of the upper circle. We're now going to do the top section. Again, it's the same male-female joint and the same bolt, using again the Allen key. And all we do is slide them together. And you can see here, this is going to be for the calibrated strut to be attached. And now we simply put in the bolt, and then when you get to the end, tighten it with the Allen key. So you'll see here there's two holes, and we want the small hex bolt to go into the lower hole so that it just makes sure that these two pieces line up. Use the wrenches that you've got here, and then just keep tightening until you reach the end. So the next part of the assembly is simply joining up the hinges either side, and then we'll have completed the construction of the upper circle. You might need 2 people for this. It's a little bit fiddly. Just make sure that the holes line up, okay? And we're going to use the M42 hex bolt, sorry, the M8 hex bolt, 42mm. So it's a slightly longer one that's in there. And you really want to maybe a little bit tighter than finger tight, because it's very important that these are able to move freely. Right, so we're starting to assemble the ground tube now, and you'll see here that I've got a piece of metal here. It's called a lug, really. Now, you want this facing up if you're going to put the PlaneSWING on a hard floor inside the home. If you're going to use it outside on grass, then you can have it facing down. But obviously, if it's facing up, it's the right-hand piece. If it's facing down, it's the left-hand piece. Okay, that makes perfect sense. So what we're going to do now is we're going to slot it in. I'm going to leave it up, so I'm going to use it on a hard surface. So there we go. And then we have the big washer and the shorter hex bolt. and that goes into this side, so that is now securing. That's it. And that's as tight as it needs to go. Okay, so we're now connecting the two back sections. Remember, there's a left and a right. Male-female joint slots in there. Hex bolt comes through, and then simply apply the nut like so, and it's exactly the same on the left-hand side. Okay, so this is the last part of connecting the ground tube. You'll see here, where we've got these two pieces that have come together now, that there are 4 holes. We've got 3 small hex bolts. They go in these 3 holes at the back. This hole here at the front is going to be for the calibrated strut, so a D-ring will go through this hole. So don't fill that hole with any of these screws. Very simple. Then you simply pop them in and screw these as tight as they'll go using the wrenches provided or any other tools you may have at home. So what we've got now is the calibrated strut. So this basically is going to determine the setting, right? So you'll be able to make it more upright and flatter using this. And then you've got the outer strut and you've got the inner strut. The inner strut has a sticker down here with all of the setting numbers on. So it's quite important when you put it in that you're quite gentle with it so that you don't start ripping the sticker off. Okay, take it down to, I like to take it down to -2, you can see there. And then I pop a D-ring in, and now it's nice and secure. Okay, and what we're going to do now is we're going to attach it to the bottom of the ground tube. So we're attaching this to the bottom of the ground tube using the D-ring, as you can see here. And what you may notice is that the sticker is facing down. And the reason for that is that when you have it assembled, that the golfer inside of the PlaneSWING can see the setting and can see the sticker. So we don't want it on the outside here. Okay, so here's the fun bit. We've got the calibrated strut here. It's now fixed to the bottom of the ground tube. I'm going to simply step forward. I'm going to pick up the upper circle, step back, and take it into a full circle like it is now. Support it on the left side, and all we do now is we add the 3rd D-ring. And your PlaneSWING is almost assembled. Your child's getting excited, calm down, sit in the corner, it won't be long. So what we have here are 2 hooks, there's a right and a left. And the purpose of these on the ground tube is that when you have the PlaneSWING folded, and perhaps it might be in the garage up against the wall, what have you, that when you have it folded, that this will link the ground tube with the upper circle, okay? So it's very simple, finger tight, don't need anything. And you'll notice you have some washers, you don't need to use them for either of these hooks. So here are the safety stays. Again, there's a left and a right. They're pretty obvious when you go to attach them. And what we want to do is, this is where I do like to use a couple of washers. The first washer goes on here, then we put the stay on, and you can see how it fits neatly onto this lug piece here. And then I put the second washer there, and then again, it's a simple, almost finger tight piece, because you want this piece to move. And then just repeat the process on the other side. So also included with the PlaneSWING is the PlaneSWING alignment mat. And you can see there that the lines that are on it are straight lines. And the reason for that is we want to make sure that when your child's inside of PlaneSWING using it, that they've got a square setup. Now, It's got Velcro straps at the side. You can attach it to the ground tube. Personally, I don't. I like to be able to move it back and forward depending on the height of the child and depending on how far back or how far forward they're actually standing and using PlaneSWING. So it really is quite versatile, but it is an important piece of kit because I really think it's important to make sure that they're set for square setup. So you'll see we've got a sheet here with numbers 1 to 12, and these are going to be placed in a clock formation around the PlaneSWING, making sure you don't do it over any of the joints. So it's not going to be an exact science, but just make sure that you're pretty accurate in terms of where they're going to be placed. And why that's important is because at our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/PlaneSWING, there are a whole bunch of drills, and the numbers are a very important part of that. So we're swinging from 7 to 5, 6 to 8 to 4, 3 to 9, etc. So whilst I'm placing in these numbers on, what's important to note is that I'm placing them in a location where they're facing in towards the golfer. So the golfer can actually see the numbers, and importantly, when you're using the PlaneSWING club, you're not running over the numbers, of course, and basically wearing them off. So you'll see that there's a bungee cord included. We actually call this the plane guide, and it fits from one side to the other. You simply wrap it around itself here, and it comes through to the other side. And this will be used for helping you set the angle of the PlaneSWING to suit your child. And that's all explained in the setting video, which can be found at youtube.com/PlaneSWING. So the final two pieces of this game transformational jigsaw are the training grip and the PlaneSWING club. Now the training grip, why I believe that is so important is you've got to create good habits in a child, and if you can get them to hold the training grip in the way it should be held and get them feeling comfortable with that, you'll see a massive improvement for them. I've always believed that grip is a key determinant of playing, and that is why I've included it. So finally, we've got the PlaneSWING Junior Golf Club. And it's just a regular golf club, but what's very important, I believe, is that you tape this up with duct tape. And the reason you do that is because you want to make sure that you protect the PlaneSWING, and you want to make sure that you protect the shaft. Now, there are a couple of good reasons for doing that. One of the other things it does is creates a little bit of resistance, which is a really good thing, okay? And depending on how many pieces of duct tape you want to put on, you can also add a little bit of weight. Now, people often say to us, well, why don't you have a power slider with the junior one? Well, it's very simple. We want familiarity. That's really important, so that they're using a club from day one pretty much. But also it's for kids from 3 and 4 years of age right the way up to 11. And the power sliders we found, we couldn't get one light enough for children to avoid them almost throwing it back. So what we found with the club was that we saw significantly better results as a consequence, because it was so light for them and they could actually move quite freely. So we've stuck with the club. It's having fantastic results, and the wonderful thing is you can actually step straight out of PlaneSWING and they can use the very club that they've been using inside of PlaneSWING. So we wish your child the very best of luck with PlaneSWING. This is going to set them hopefully onto a game for life, and who knows, by the time they get to 11, they'll hopefully be stepping straight up to the PlaneSWING adult version.